Okay, now we're going to make this drawing file from the part file on the left-hand side. So the way we're going to do that is leave the part file open with all of the model-based definitions in place, and then go up to File and New. And this time we're going to select US English, and we're going to select Standard Drawing, IDW. So we're going to create that, and then the first thing we want to do is change the sheet type to B as it shows here. So right click on the sheet, select Edit Sheet, and go down to B right there. It's going to give you a little more space to work things out, and it's going to look probably pretty good on the printout. So let's first of all place our base location, which is going to be our front view, our base view. And we want it to be not the solid shaded, but we want it to be this one right here. I think all the other things can remain as default. We are using a 1-to-1 scale. It doesn't say there, but we're going to use a 1-to-1 scale. And what we can do is, instead of clicking on the part, you can see a slight red outline. If you select that and move it over, let's try to make this look exactly like what we have over here on the right-hand side. After you place the base part, which is going to be our front view, we're going to also place the top view. That's going to be a projected view. So we start from here and then we go up from that point and then click, and it says, do you want it placed right here? And you say right click, create. So that, let me do that again to make sure you got that right. So projected view, and we're going to go from this view right here up to there. So you notice I had to click there. So projected view, like this. I'm going to say, take this view and make a projected view of it. It knows to go from front to top. Like that, we click and it doesn't really show anything that's there. So what we want to do is right click and say create. And we can also do projected right view, because that is the standard thing. But for this part, it would be not necessary, because all the dimensions can be held with the front and top view as it says in the chapter. So it kind of depends on how much information you need to ensure you know the complete three-dimensional shape of the object. What we do want to have, though, is we want to have this view, which is an isometric view, in place. So I click there to place it, right click to create it. We're going to leave this one undimensioned. If you want to change the scale of it, you could. I think you could go out here, right click, and you say edit view, and you could change the scale to 1/2. But to me, that looks a little bit too small. So what I'm going to do is just hit Control Z and bring it back to what it was. The main thing is that these two things are to scale. That's the main thing, and it's 1-to-1 as you see here. Now let me see if some of these things down here automatically fill in when we save the file as it is before we start adding dimensions to wrap up the process. So we're going to say File, and then save, and this is going to be save a drawing file IDW. And of course, we want this one in our chapter 8 location. And there it is, IDW. I'm going to overwrite the one that I had already placed there. And you notice that it puts the drawing number in place for you. So that means that you don't have to do that one. You don't have to do the B side or the 1-to-1 or the page 1 of 1. It also puts your name up there, and as well as the date that you created it. So that kind of helps me with grading process as well. Okay, now the isometric view, we want to leave without any dimensions on it. So let's just focus on getting these dimensions showing for the front view. If we right click on this front view, I mean, you don't want to click in here. You want to find that border that's out here that's red. Maybe you just barely see it in my view. And then you want to go up here to retrieve model annotations. And then just click OK. And you can see that it got all but one. So we are going to have to add that 1/2 inch distance for the thickness of this plate. I tried to pull it in for the right view and it wasn't even there either. So it seems like sometimes when you do these extrudes, it doesn't really tell you what the thicknesses are. So the next thing to do is to go over here to this one and say right click, and also go retrieve model dimensions and hit OK. And now we just need to place all of them so that they're kind of arcing over like that. So let me zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. I think they wanted this one to be over here. So you grab the green point like that. And then grab this green, bring it around like this, and even move this over a little bit if you want to. The 5 right here needs to be up on the top. You can see this 2 actually went off the screen, so we need to pull that back in. And the word through came through just fine, although our sketch from our example sketch did not show that. It's good that it shows it here. Then let's pull in the 2.5. Now let's just make sure we have everything looking exactly like we had for this one, except for the 0.5. So do we have everything else exactly right? Yes. So before we finish, we have to either manually add this or maybe go back to the sketch. And you'll notice that just like the author did, they didn't have the thickness in here. So I'm wondering now that if I add the thickness right here, where the author missed that from here down to here, if it will then show up in the um, drawing view. Now, I do want to select maybe a different plane. It's really my choice on this one. So maybe I'll select this one so that it goes like so. That wasn't really a great choice on that one. So let me just try that again. So select the dimension between here and here. Would that be okay? What about if I did dimension between there and there? And then select the plane to be, I kind of want something that comes out this direction. Well, let's maybe move this around. Oops, grab this, pull it around there. And then let's see what else we can do. Just some other ideas until we get what we really like. Let's just see if we can show it on the mid plane. So right click and say select annotation plane. And I'm going to see if I can select the YZ plane like that. Pull it off to the side and then hit tab to rotate the text. And I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to hit the green check mark to see if everything looks good. It does define the part. Let's go back and save it. And then if we go back to our drawing down here on the bottom tab, we want to see if we can pull that dimension in. So if we say right click, retrieve model dimension, you see that it does now bring those in. I guess it made those gray because they've already pulled those in before. So we could have either manually added that one by going over to annotation and dimension, or we could have put it on the original sketch, on the original MDB, wait, model-based dimension, MBD, model-based definition. So we could have put it on the model-based definition, which is this one, or we can put it manually in place here. Let's give it one last look here to see if we're missing anything. So maximize here. You'll see that we're missing the title. So what you want to do in this case is on the annotation tab, select text, and just kind of highlight this whole box like that. And we'll pick a good size font that makes it look good. So we're going to type in the name of the university. And we can highlight that text and we can see what it looks like over here, kind of a preview. Let's show it middle justification and center on the alignment. And then maybe highlight this and put 0.4. To see that change, you can click over here on something else, and you see that's too big. So then we can say 0.3, or maybe just select the default here, which I think is 0.24. This may be just a little bit too big. Let's try 2.3. And then click down here, and you can see that that's a pretty good size. So we're going to use 0.23 inches on the dimension. Then we want to label our part, add something in the title, and we'll just use the file name or the part name. And why don't we try to use the same words that the textbook uses? Let's see what they used over here. Yeah, U bracket design. Highlight all of the text with Control A, center, center, and then that's way too small. Let's go back to our 0.4 to see if that works. Kind of a default. recommendation. That looks good. So we don't want this going outside the boundaries is the main thing. All right, so once we have all these identically created here, you're good to go. Just if you feel like these objects right here are not properly placed, you can hit escape to get out of the text mode and kind of pull this down a little bit. So if these things get too close to the wall or they're overlapping the wall, you want to pull these in a little bit just by grabbing. Well, actually, I can't move it to the right because I have to move this one to the right. This is my base definition here. So you'll see that this other one follows what I'm doing here. But you can change the distance between those two. You see, this right here is not good. You want to pull that in a little bit. And I guess what we had was pretty good. At this point, we want to hit save, and then we're going to print it to a PDF file. So file, print. And one thing you'll notice is that if you select Microsoft Print to PDF, if you save model one-to-one, let me show you what that comes out as. You'll see it will not be actually correct. I'll see if I can find that directory where it's at. Here it is. And you can see that it cropped out the outside part. So we really want to scale the B-sized paper to our actual paper size that we normally have for a printer. So we're going to do that again and say File, Print. And this time we're going to say Best Fit. So that way it'll fit all of this to our standard 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. All right, well, then we can hit preview if you want to. Maybe I should have done that early on. And let's see, if I just close this preview, can I then just print it? Where'd my print dialog go? Oh, okay, let's do it again. So print, best fit, and current sheet. Save it as a PDF file. And before you upload that PDF file for grading, make sure you preview it so that it looks like this. Looks very well done, professionally done. Everything is in place and readable. All right, I will see you in the next video.